Hey, what's up everybody? Brian here. And as you know, I am over 1,000 videos by 3 so far. Might be more in a little when I upload a lot of these. But anyway, as you know, I'm a wrestling fan. It's true, I am a wrestling fan. I'm not going to deny that. I've always been a wrestling fan. Hell, I've recorded Raw, SmackDown, ECW, TNA for the past 5-6 years with my DVD recorders. So, and I continue to do it. But anyway, I know a lot of people are talking about what's been going on in wrestling lately, especially with WWE. A lot of people are talking about this past Monday night on Raw, especially with the Bret Hart injury. A lot of people are speculating where WWE is going to go with that. First of all, let me say this. There's two ways, maybe three, that WWE can go with this. One way, which I doubt is even going to happen, but it might be strongly considered, is WWE might have Bret sit in the corner or stand in the corner of John Cena, and Vince McMahon in the corner of Batista. Sort of like, the Battle of the Billionaires, where there's a stipulation. If that was to happen, I'd want the stipulation to be the stipulation that I think is going to be should be put into the match between Bret and Vince if that happens. And that stipulation is, if Vince McMahon wins, with either having Batista representing him, if Batista representing Vince wins the match, then Bret has to come out on Raw and admit that he screwed himself, that Vince McMahon was right the whole time. He screwed himself. But if John Cena wins representing Bret Hart, then Vince McMahon has to come out and reveal the real reason as to why he screwed Bret Hart back in '97. And you know what? I would love to hear Vince McMahon, if that was to happen, if that stipulation was to happen, I would love to hear Vince McMahon come out and say, the reason I screwed Bret Hart is because I didn't want him to throw the WWE title in the trash on WCW Nitro. Oh, and thus put the final nail in the coffin of my company and force me to probably go work for WCW. I know that's a bad Vince McMahon imitation, but you get the idea. But that's the kind of stipulation I'd like to see, despite how this whole thing's going to take place. Another way I see it happening is, of course, they're talking about a tag team match between the team of John Cena, Bret Hart, against Batista, Vince McMahon. I'd love to see that happen with that stipulation. But then, of course, another way I see this happening is the injury that took place on Raw this past Monday night, the so-called injury. Some are saying that the lady that bumped into Bret or backed into Bret's car could have been paid by Vince McMahon. But then again, when you think about it, Bret and John Cena are proclaiming Vince McMahon as the biggest liar in the world, right? That everyone believes that everyone he lies to believes him. Well, I'm thinking, what if Bret Hart, John Cena, and maybe a few superstars here and there got together to make Vince McMahon think Bret was leaving, have this woman supposedly back up into Bret's limo, supposedly injuring him. Basically what I'm saying is bait Vince McMahon into agreeing to the match, and when Vince least expects it, find out that he has agreed to a match, he's agreed to face not an injured Bret Hart, but a fully healed, 100%, not even injured at all Bret Hart, that's basically lying to Vince. That's what I'm saying. Basically lie to Vince and make him look like the jackass, make him look like the idiot, and then, like I say, bait him into that match. That's what I think could happen. That's my strong feeling on it. Now, besides that, talking about the end of ECW, I didn't get to see the final ECW episode. I'm going to have to download it later. But honestly, I watched ECW. I'm not going to deny that. But I will admit, ECW to me was basically FCW the next level. Basically, that's what it was. I mean, FCW, when you look at it, let's look at it, like, say, from a Major League Baseball standpoint. Or in this case, not just Major League Baseball, but let's take a look at it from an NCAA football standpoint, and even basketball standpoint. Sports overall. FCW, to me, was like Division I AA, right? ECW was like the NCAA's FCS, Football Championship Series. You know, the division, originally Division I AA, the Division I guys. You know, like teams like Youngstown and Montana and things like that. And SmackDown and Raw were like the FBC. You know, the FBC, the BCS level of WWE. That's the way I looked at it. And anybody that was in the FCW, which, like I said, was kind of like the 1AA, when they got sent to ECW, when they were told, okay, we're going to call you up, but you're going to go to ECW, they were basically being called up to the 1A, the FCS of the WWE. That's what they were being called up to. And if they were lucky enough, like many have been lately, like Jack Swagger, who else? Evan Bourne, just to name a few. When you get Serena, who I guess just got called up immediately, I don't know. But when you get called up from that level to the FBC, to the BCS of WWE, SmackDown or Raw, then you basically have proven yourself. And if you could just shoot straight up there like, say, Serena did, then you have proven yourself. So basically that's how I looked at ECW, you know, in that category. And yeah, it was good if you were an average wrestling fan. You know, just like wrestling, not all this, oh, I'm going to kick your butt and get your ass out of here so I can, you know, kick it, or I challenge you to. Instead of getting all that, you just got wrestling. Well, if you are a true mark of professional wrestling, sort of wrestling, if you know what I mean. So the question is now, who's going to end up where? Excuse me for a second. Okay, I've got about 2.5 minutes, maybe 3. But the question is now, who's going to end up where? Well, many people are saying that Christian is going to end up on SmackDown. We've already seen that young tag team that debuted about a month ago or so, that Croft and Barletta on SmackDown, so obviously they're going there. Some people are saying Ezekiel Jackson's going to go there. Some saying maybe William Regal. And some are saying that going to Raw is going to be Rosa Mendez and Zack Ryder and maybe Yoshitatsu and Goldust. That's who they're saying is going in these directions. So we'll just have to wait and see. As far as that little skit show they did, the Abraham Washington show, I've got a feeling Abraham Washington's going to debut on one of the shows, but not as a host, but as a wrestler. That's what I see happening with him. But yeah, I'm kind of sad that ECW's gone, but you know what? At least in many fans' eyes, it doesn't have to, those letters that represent probably the most extreme, ultra-violent promotion there ever was, don't have to suffer anymore under the WWE banner. And there's a lot of former ECW alumni, like Tommy Dreamer, RVD, Sabu, Sandman, they're all happy it's over. And as far as Shawn Michaels goes, Shawn Michaels, a lot of people are saying they don't know exactly what's going to happen with him this Sunday. Some are saying he might insert himself into the Elimination Chamber for SmackDown. Some are saying he's going to find a way to interfere in the Elimination Chamber for SmackDown and cost The Undertaker the title. We'll find out, but you know what? I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the latter part right there. He's going to find a way to get into that chamber, cost The Undertaker the match, and thus Undertaker is going to want his revenge, and we're going to get the rematch. That's how I see it. We're not going to have probably Michaels in the chamber, and if that happens, it happens, but we're not going to have it that way. Somehow Michaels is going to find a way to cost the Undertaker, interfere and cost The Undertaker the match. You know, I would not be surprised if Shawn Michaels plays the role of a cameraman like Edge did a couple years ago in that Hell in a Cell match. Okay? I would not be surprised if he does that. So, one way or another, Shawn's going to cost The Undertaker the title. We all know that. but we don't know how it's going to happen. But that's going to lead to the rematch at WrestleMania. And as far as TNA goes, let me take my time for a second. TNA is sort of doing a good job. The news going around that one of the first matches signed for the live edition of first official live edition of Impact on Monday, March 8th, is Abyss and Hogan versus Flair and Styles. And from what I understand, at these past couple of tapings, Hogan used a barbed wire baseball bat for the first time. So there's a news item there. But that's all I have to say. I'm out of time. Got any comments? Let me know. Peace out.